Hey everyone, Christina here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to collect data and build content without being ignored. So I'm going to share 3 ways that you can do that. Let's go. Alright, so way number 1 is to do surveys. I know that not many people like surveys, but you can run a simple survey on Instagram because you might actually have already a current following that you can do a poll and ask very simple questions that you can get an easy yes or no. And the Instagram polls are only available in Instagram stories. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, that it will pop up in the stories but not as a post. But they are very, very valuable. And I would encourage you guys to explore, using the polls or using the question feature as well. There's also another one too, where it gives you A, B, or C. That's like a quiz feature as well. So really play around with those 3 different types of research tools is what they're called. And don't be afraid to, put yourself out there. But I would encourage you to ask the right questions so that you get valuable answers in return for your market research. Because the key here is to get answers that you can pull from and create content around. And if you want to create a bit more of a detailed survey so that you have a little bit more to pull from, I would suggest Airtable because the platform is pretty easy to use. You can pretty much build your own form and send it out to people. And the way that it's set up is you can share it to your email list subscribers, you can share it in a group, in a Facebook group, or you can share it to anyone within your social feeds. It's pretty flexible in my opinion. Now, I would encourage you guys, if you're going to do a little bit more of a lengthier survey, to provide an incentive to them, because it's an exchange, right? It's about providing value to them, but they're looking to get something in return, right? So some incentives that you can play around with is, they can be entered into a contest to win a gift card, or maybe you provide a free service to them or a free gift. I'm not sure, but something that is going to provide them value. Because the surveys are very hard to do because people find them, boring. You have to make it exciting to them and maybe not as overwhelming. They don't want to take too many steps. So just try and make it very simple for them. But if you don't want to do any surveys and you find that they're very overwhelming, then I would suggest the second step, which is running focus groups. And focus groups, you can actually do them online now via Zoom. And focus groups are very useful because you're able to have an engagement live with another person, right? Or, 10 other people. Now, the big question here is you have to get clear on your ideal client before you start venturing out there to gather people into a group, right? So my opinion here would be get clear on the type of person you want to talk to before scheduling a focus group. And you want to make sure that you know what kind of topics and questions you want to ask these individuals. And how to find them? You probably would have to search to, the Facebook groups or Reddit groups or Slack groups or Discord groups. Those types of groups might help gather some people in. You can probably ask your followers too that are already following you. That will help you in the long run to gather people, because if you don't really like doing the surveys, I think the focus groups might be your way of gathering information. and learning more about your people. But you have to make sure that you're bringing in quality traffic. That's what it means to bring in the exact person that you want to help. So the focus groups, you have to run a couple of different focus groups too. You can't just run one. I think that's the only downfall if you're trying to collect information. You have to pull from different types of focus groups. So maybe focus group 1 is going to be on this topic. Focus group number 2 is going to be on this topic. 3, 4, so on. So just, it's a great avenue to venture in, but make sure that you know what you're doing when you're going into something like that, because it does require time and energy. It requires participants to come and show up to your live session, because doing this in person, would be better, but given the times that we're in, it still might be too hard to do that. But you have the power of doing things online. And to continue to run these focus groups until you're able to have a good amount of data that you can use to create content, to build a special offer for them, all these things. And I mean, this is how you work. This is about co-creating and hearing them out and listening to their needs and their wants and their desires, and translating that into content that's going to help them and an offer that's going to help them as well. 3, the last one, groups. Online groups, they're all over the place. You got Facebook, you got Slack, you got Discord, you got Reddit. There's probably other ones that I don't really know right now, but there are lots out there that you could pull from. And what it really comes down to is joining the right groups that speak to your ideal client, and groups that are active, because you want people to be very engaging. You also want to ask, again, the right questions, right? So really take the time to pull out some really good questions from your headspace. Don't start just popcorning questions. Really craft good questions to ask these people, because when you get a good question, you'll get really good responses. And if you're a little unsure about the types of questions you want to ask, then I would suggest just social listening. And that's super powerful, because all you have to do is go in these groups that your target audience is in, read up on some of the postings that you've been seeing, see what comes up a lot and what maybe you can harness and pull from, and maybe engage with some of those posts, to solve a problem or provide a point. Those are ways to engage and socialize, but on a lower scale, so that you're not overwhelmed and nervous about making a wrong impression. This is just you kind of getting under the rug and just pulling from different areas within the conversations, right? Oh, this person is really upset about this, and maybe I could write some content about this to provide a solution. So those are things to think about, because a lot of people online, they really express, how they're feeling, what's bothering them. They really are open. And that's really good, because now you can use that to help generate really good content or an offer that might help them out. So yeah, that's basically it. That is the top 3 tips that I want to share with you guys about how you can collect data to build content. And we'll sum it up again so that you know exactly what you can do. So the first one is surveys. You could do polls on Instagram. Then you can also do a longer survey in Airtable. And I can put that link in the description box so that you know where Airtable is and how to sign up for it. It's free, so don't worry. There are some other additional add-ons and premiums, but for now, it's a good tool to start on a free scale. Then what I would suggest is, if you're going to do these really big surveys, to provide an incentive for them to be engaged in and participate. So that's one. Two is to run focus groups, so that you have countless different focus groups that you've run and you've recorded the sessions and collected the data. You will be able to pull lots of content from that and hear them out. You will know exactly what they need, and you guys can co-create together to make this work, to create really good content that speaks to them and create a really good offer that will help them out. And then three, really take advantage of groups, online groups in Reddit, Discord, Facebook, what was the other one? Slack. All of those different groups are going to provide you with good value. Just engage when you need to, ask the right questions to provide really good, valuable answers. And that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Keep smiling. Bye.